In a quiet suburban neighborhood, police cars line the driveway of a pristine two-story home. Inside, a woman lies dead, stabbed multiple times. She's identified as 46-year-old criminal defense attorney Rebecca Caldwell. But what stuns the community even more is who killed her. Rebecca Caldwell was the kind of woman who turned heads, not because of glamour, but because of presence. Respected, eloquent, and fiercely intelligent, Rebecca built her reputation as a criminal defense lawyer over 2 decades. She fought for justice. She gave second chances. And one of those second chances ended her life. Tyler was 26 years old. Charismatic, street-smart, and reckless, Jason grew up bouncing between foster homes and juvenile detention. Arrested at 23 for aggravated assault, he faced 10 years in prison. But then, he met Rebecca Caldwell. It was supposed to be routine. Rebecca was appointed to represent Jason through her firm's pro bono program. She believed in his potential. She fought hard. With skillful legal work and character witnesses, she got Jason's sentence reduced to 3 years. They hugged after the verdict. No one knew. That moment was the beginning. Jason was released early on parole. He had nowhere to go. Rebecca offered guidance, mentorship. Then, a room in her guest house. Her husband, Michael Caldwell, a local architect, was uncomfortable, but Rebecca insisted. He has no one. The tension grew, late-night conversations, lingering looks. Jason, with his youth and charm, was everything Rebecca's marriage had lost over the years. She told herself it was maternal, but it wasn't. It began on a stormy night. Rebecca brought Jason leftovers. He touched her hand. She didn't pull away. What happened next was reckless, passionate, and irreversible. Rebecca, a married woman, a lawyer, a mother, was sleeping with a man she once defended in court. By day, Rebecca was the picture of professionalism. Courtroom sharp, poised, untouchable. But by night, she was sneaking across her own backyard to the guest house. Her husband Michael began to notice the late-night showers, the secrecy, the tension. Michael Caldwell, 49, had been married to Rebecca for 18 years. Devoted, reserved, and emotionally distant, he often buried himself in blueprints and deadlines. Their love had faded into routine, but he never expected betrayal, especially from her. To Rebecca, Jason was troubled but vulnerable. To Jason, Rebecca was a golden ticket. Money, protection, and power. He played the part well, soft-spoken, grateful, affectionate. But behind closed doors, he was manipulative, possessive. Rebecca started to unravel. The guilt gnawed at her. She was lying to her husband, risking her career. And she knew if the affair ever became public, her entire life, her practice, her name would collapse. Rebecca began funneling money to Jason. New clothes, a car, a credit card in her name. It started as support, but soon became a leash. Jason demanded more, threatened to leave, and she kept paying. Rebecca told Michael that Jason needed help finding work, that he was fragile. But Michael didn't buy it. He'd seen the looks, heard the muffled voices through the walls. Something wasn't right. One night, Michael followed her. He saw her walk into the guest house, and he waited. 40 minutes passed before she emerged, hair messy, coat unbuttoned. He didn't confront her. Not yet. Michael finally confronted Rebecca. "Is there something between you and Jason?" She denied it, laughed, called him paranoid. But inside, panic brewed. Jason was becoming a liability. Jason grew jealous. When Rebecca missed a text, he'd show up at her office. When she went home to her husband, he'd threaten to tell everyone. "I made you," he whispered once. "Don't forget that." Jason wasn't in love. He was obsessed. He wanted control. Rebecca, once his savior, had become his possession. And when she tried to pull away, he became volatile. Terrified, Rebecca sought advice from a colleague. "Hypothetically," she asked, What if a former client turned threatening? Her colleague's eyes widened. You need to cut this person off immediately. She planned everything. Cut off the credit card, drafted a formal eviction notice, and scheduled a therapy session with Michael to confess everything. She thought ending the affair would be difficult. She had no idea it would be deadly. Jason found the eviction notice on the kitchen table of the guest house. The rage hit like fire. "After everything I did for you?" he screamed when she returned. Rebecca stood her ground for the first time. She asked him to leave by the end of the week. "I'm done, Jason. This can't go on." Jason's eyes went cold. "You're not done until I say you are." While Rebecca was out, Michael searched her laptop. Hidden behind innocuous folders were messages. Dozens. Explicit. Angry. Manipulative. It was all there. Michael confronted her again. This time she didn't deny it. She broke down. "It started as a mistake. I tried to help him. I didn't mean to fall in." He walked away. Michael packed a bag and left the next day. Rebecca begged him to stay, to talk, but he'd had enough. "You didn't just cheat," he said. "You invited danger into our home." Jason blamed Rebecca for everything. His housing, his money, his trust. "You can't just use me and walk away." He was spiraling. He started following her car, watching her office, waiting. Rebecca reported his harassment to the police, but without proof of violence, there wasn't much they could do. "Get a restraining order," they said. She didn't. Friends said she looked different, tired, hollow, always checking her phone. She canceled meetings. She barely ate. Fear had consumed her. It was a Sunday afternoon. Rebecca was alone at home. Jason hadn't been seen for days. Then, just after 3:00 p.m., neighbors heard screaming, glass breaking, and then silence. Police found Rebecca's body in the kitchen. Multiple stab wounds, defensive injuries, blood on the floor and walls. There were signs of a struggle, but no forced entry. She had let him in. By the time police arrived, Jason was gone. His guest house was empty. Clothes, electronics, vanished. But investigators found something chilling. A knife missing from Rebecca's own kitchen set. That night, every local station ran the headline, "Prominent defense attorney found murdered in her home." No one could believe it. But what truly stunned the public was the suspect. Michael was staying with his sister when the call came. He dropped the phone mid-sentence. "I knew something bad would happen," he whispered, "but I never thought she'd die." Social media erupted. Some blamed Rebecca for her choices. Others mourned the loss of a woman who had defended the vulnerable for years. Whispers swirled. Was it love or manipulation? In court circles, Rebecca was a legend, but now her legacy was tangled in scandal. Her affair with a former client, now a murder suspect, tainted everything she had built. An arrest warrant was issued for Jason Tyler. The search went national. Airports were alerted. His photo was everywhere, but he had vanished, like smoke. Rebecca had been stabbed 9 times, 3 fatal wounds, 1 to the heart. The medical examiner confirmed she fought back, but the attack was quick, personal, furious. Rebecca's younger sister, Elena, held a press conference. She made mistakes, but she didn't deserve this. She helped him, and he destroyed her. Michael began to replay everything. "I should have done more. I should have reported him, followed through, but I just walked away." He paused. "She was still my wife." Detectives unearthed a pattern: past girlfriends, former foster homes, juvenile reports. Jason had a long history of manipulation and violence, hidden behind charm. Legal experts called it a fatal lapse in judgment. A lawyer sleeping with a former client is unethical, but to fund him, house him, protect him, that's dangerous. Jason had no known relatives, no job, no bank trail, but one clue emerged: surveillance footage of him boarding a bus, heading south. Police unlocked Rebecca's phone. The last message she received from Jason read, "If I can't have you, no one will." Rebecca's office had a hidden camera. In its final recording, Jason appears outside her office door, just 2 days before her murder, watching and waiting. Hundreds attended Rebecca's vigil. Former clients, fellow lawyers, and community leaders stood in silence. Candles lined the steps of the courthouse where she once fought for others. The state bar opened a posthumous ethics review, not to punish, but to understand how a respected lawyer could cross so many lines. She didn't fall in love, one peer said. She fell into danger. 3 weeks after the murder, a tip came in. Jason was seen working under a fake name at a roadside mechanic shop in rural Texas. U.S. Marshals swarmed the shop at dawn. Jason tried to run, again, but this time he didn't make it far. He was tackled, cuffed, and read his rights. Finally, it was over. In a small courtroom packed with press, Jason stood before the judge, shackled, expressionless, charged with first-degree murder. No bail, the judge ordered. Flight risk. The city felt a strange sense of closure, but also disbelief. A woman who saved lives had been killed by the very man she rescued. There were no winners here. At arraignment, Jason's attorney entered a plea. Not guilty. The defense? Self-defense. The courtroom gasped. Prosecutors painted a picture of obsession and betrayal. A young man who exploited an older woman's vulnerability and killed her when the money ran out. Michael Caldwell testified with tears in his eyes. She tried to fix people. She didn't know how to stop. Even when it started killing her, photos, text messages, and journal entries were revealed. Rebecca had documented her fears, her regret, her hope that she could walk away, but Jason wouldn't let her. Jason's attorney argued emotional abuse, claimed Rebecca used her power to seduce and control a vulnerable young man, but the jury wasn't buying it. After 6 days of testimony and 2 hours of deliberation, the verdict was in. The courtroom sat still. Jason stood up. The judge read the paper. Tyler was found guilty of first-degree murder. No emotion, no remorse, just silence. The sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. After the trial, Michael spoke once more. She tried to help a broken man, and he broke her in return. But she was more than this tragedy. She was light. Rebecca's name now lives on through a scholarship fund, created by her sister and husband, to support young women pursuing law. A legacy built from pain, but aimed at healing. Sometimes, helping others can come at a cost, and sometimes, the people we try to save are the ones who destroy us. Rebecca Caldwell gave someone a second chance, and it cost her life. Elena, her sister, emphasized the importance of remembering Rebecca for her fight for justice, not merely as a victim of obsession and violence. Rebecca's legacy would transcend her tragic end. Michael struggled with the implications of the trial, each gut-wrenching day pulling back the layers of a life he thought he knew. Friends tried to console him, sharing anecdotes of shared laughter and dreams, but the images of her vulnerability, exposed in court, left scars deeper than anyone could perceive. "You have to remember the light she brought," one friend urged, but Michael could only nod, feeling the weight of the darkness enveloping it all. During an event held in her memory, Elena spoke fervently about her sister's passion for justice, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Rebecca believed in fighting for those without a voice," she declared, her voice resonating through the crowded hall. In the wake of the trial, the community began healing in unexpected ways. Rebecca Caldwell's story transcended tragedy. It became a testament to the strength found in empowerment, transformation, and a relentless pursuit of justice. In the wake of such a monumental transform of the conversations it sparked about ethics and lawyer-client relationships. Legal symposiums included panels on lessons learned from Rebecca's tragic case, with experts emphasizing the importance of boundaries to prevent repeating such mistakes. Attendees felt a mix of obligation and inspiration, as they discussed how compassion, if unchecked, could quickly spiral into severe repercussions. Through these dialogues, her story served as both a cautionary tale and a rallying cry, encouraging a new generation of attorneys to navigate their careers with vigilance, while remaining true to their mission of advocacy. With each event, the collective commitment to reform blossomed, ensuring that Rebecca's legacy would forever resonate within the halls of justice. As the scholarship fund flourished, stories of past recipients began to circulate, each one a testament to the changed lives inspired by Rebecca's legacy. They spoke of overcoming obstacles, filled with gratitude for the chance to pursue their dreams of law. Rebecca's story reminded me that we can build bridges where there were once walls, one graduate shared at a community event. We are not just here to advocate for others, but to embody her spirit of resilience and justice. Such reflections highlighted not only the impact of the fund, but also the power of collective action, reinforcing the belief that through shared experiences, they could influence a culture that values integrity, respect, and ethical conduct in the legal profession. In the heart of this transformation, Rebecca's legacy evolved into a clarion call for change, as new generations of lawyers began to embody the lessons gleaned from her tragic story. Activists organized workshops focused on navigating the intricacies of client relationships, addressing issues of vulnerability, ethics, and the responsibilities that come with holding power. They penned articles and thought pieces for legal journals, dissecting not just the circumstances of her demise, but the broader implications for the profession. "Our duty is not only to defend," one speaker proclaimed at a conference, "but to safeguard our clients from the very dangers we rally against." These discussions fostered a renewed sense of accountability and ethical mindfulness among practitioners, ensuring that the specter of Rebecca's experience remained a guiding force driving policy reforms within legal frameworks. Her name became synonymous with advocacy, not just for clients, but for systemic changes aimed at preventing future tragedies. As the scholarship flourished, Elena and Michael began to receive heartfelt letters from recipients, sharing personal accounts of how Rebecca's legacy had transformed their lives. Each message further ignited their dedication, urging them to expand the program beyond financial support. "We need to create mentorship opportunities," Elena suggested one evening, filled with excitement. "These young women deserve guidance from experienced lawyers who share Rebecca's values." Michael nodded, his heart swelling with pride. Together, they envisioned workshops that would prepare the next wave of attorneys, not only to practice law competently, but to do so with compassion and integrity. The seeds of this initiative were planted, ensuring that Rebecca's commitment to justice would continue to shape the profession for years to come. Such efforts solidified a community intent on forming a legacy that embraced both empowerment and accountability, reflective of the complex tapestry that Rebecca Caldwell had woven throughout her illustrious life. In the midst of Rebecca's enduring legacy, the annual gala for the Scholarship Fund became a centerpiece for the community, an event steeped in emotional significance and triumphant energy. People from all walks of life gathered, united by a shared mission to honor Rebecca's memory, while celebrating the achievements of the young women emerging as formidable forces within the legal landscape. Attendees marveled at the resilience demonstrated by the scholarship recipients, each one standing before the crowd, sharing their stories with grace and poise. Their journeys acted as a powerful reminder of the strength born from adversity, lifting the collective spirit of those present. As Elena took the stage, her voice quivered with both sadness and pride. "Tonight, we illuminate not only Rebecca's impact, but also the immense potential within each of these young women." Applause erupted, fueled by admiration and hope, echoing through the hall and resonating deep in the hearts of those gathered. As the gala progressed, the atmosphere was filled with an electric sense of purpose. Tables adorned with candles reflected the hopeful faces of attendees, sharing in the joy of newfound aspirations, each story intertwining with Rebecca's legacy. A young woman stood proudly, her hands trembling slightly as she recounted her journey to the stage. "Just like Rebecca, I come from a background that often seemed insurmountable," she began, voice steady despite her nerves. but her story inspired me to fight for my dreams, showing me that obstacles can be transformed into stepping stones. The crowd erupted in applause, a celebration of resilience and the unyielding spirit of those who dared to dream amid adversity. As each recipient shared their experiences, the message was clear. Rebecca's light continued to guide them. Amidst the celebrations of success, a poignant video montage played, tracing Rebecca's journey from a budding attorney to a formidable advocate. Familiar faces, colleagues, clients, and friends offered anecdotes filled with warmth and respect. She believed in justice not just as a profession, but as a calling. One former client shared, her voice filled with emotion. Laughter mixed with tears, highlighting the impact Rebecca had made not just in courtrooms, but in the lives of those she touched. Each story woven into this tapestry honored her legacy, reminding everyone present that while tragedy had marked her life, the spirit of her fight for justice would continue to inspire countless others. As the applause echoed throughout the hall, Elena felt a wave of pride wash over her. She gazed out at the room filled with hope, remembering the strength Rebecca had shown in the face of adversity. In every struggle, there's a spark of resilience, she noted, her voice steady yet emotional. Tonight, we celebrate more than just achievements. We celebrate a powerful legacy that continues to blossom. Rebecca Caldwell fought for justice, and together, we will ensure that her dedication to advocacy endures. In that moment, each attendee understood. Rebecca's spirit was alive, woven deeply into the fabric of every aspirant striving for a just world. As the excitement of the gala settled into a warm camaraderie, conversations flowed among attendees, each sharing personal anecdotes and plans for the future. Connections formed, fortified by a shared purpose that breathed life into Rebecca's memory. Amidst this gathering, Elena approached Michael, her eyes gleaming with determination. "We should consider honoring Rebecca's birthday as a day of community service," she proposed, igniting a flicker of inspiration in Michael's gaze. "Let's encourage everyone to give back, reflecting her spirit of advocacy in action." Michael smiled, feeling the weight of their shared mission. "Absolutely, it's a way to keep her memory alive while empowering others." Together, they envisioned a powerful tribute, one that not only celebrated Rebecca's life, but also inspired future generations to engage with their communities, fostering a legacy rooted in compassion and service. Each step forward, they knew, was another ripple in the vast ocean of change Rebecca had ignited. Despite the sorrow and loss, Rebecca's story evolved into a symbol of hope and resilience, sparking a movement within the community focused on healing and empowerment. As time passed, the scholarship fund continued to expand, providing resources and support to not just aspiring lawyers, but to anyone facing injustice. The annual Community Service Day became a local tradition, uniting people in Rebecca's honor, as they worked together to uplift those in need. In remembrance, they celebrated a life dedicated to justice, ensuring that Rebecca Caldwell's legacy would live on through their collective efforts and unwavering commitment to change. In this way, Rebecca Caldwell became a lasting symbol of resilience, compassion, and the power of second chances. Her story served as a reminder that while the fight for justice can come with unimaginable challenges, it is the light of dedication and service that will ultimately hold sway over darkness.